All right, what's popping, y'all? We back, man. It's another episode of the Squid Game. Where are they at now? Podcast edition. I know I'm gonna keep saying this. The title is very long for this one, but I'm gonna find an acronym to use as we go through. Now, today we have one of the goest of the getters of the players in the whole entire game. This man got the most heart. This man's got been through a lot. He's been through the Hunger Games, and we ain't seen him in a minute. But I am excited, and I know that he has some elaborate stories to tell and some things that just catch us up on what this man has been getting after with it. Hence the name. And without further introduction, y'all, we gonna get this thing started right and toast. What's poppin', Dan? We got my man Dan Bartolomeo, player 204 in the building. What's going down?
What's going on, DeAndre? Good to see you again, man. It's been a while.
I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been what, 7 months ish,
Ish,
eight.
yeah, definitely ish.
How's things been going with you, man?
Good, man. Just working, trying to do my thing, trying to get by, just like everybody else.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. So yes, as I said earlier, this is where are they now? It's not like they have left the building. They have just left this scene from the Squid Game, essentially speaking. So it's been about a year since the show aired almost, it's been some time. What have you been up to since this past, since the show has been done airing per se?
Sure, sure. Well, I mean, with five kids, obviously, I'm pretty busy. Um, but as far as things with reality, I mean, and you were there. We had a huge fundraiser back in March. Reality for Charity. We raised money for the Wounded Warrior Project and for Alex's Lemonade Stand, which is a charity that deals with kids with terminal cancer. We had 50 or so reality stars there, and it was a great night because we all got to see each other. We had about 36 from our show there, and we raised money, and it was a good time. So that took a lot of time and a lot of effort from all of our squad. So that was fun though, a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely a good time. Okay. So that's what's popping with I remember the charity event was lit. Definitely a good time. I actually spoke about that with Eric recently, Eric Yu that lives in Philadelphia. And
Yep.
that was his first time seeing everybody else. So kind of how's the year been besides after that event as well? Can you tell me anything else you've been up to?
Yeah, so I've been doing some work. I worked on another. I'm trying to work on some more projects. I'll put it that way. I can't really delve too far into it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was a very busy summer for me. I'll put it that way. It was really busy.
Oh, keeping busy. I'm excited. Okay. He's got some things up his sleeve that he's not rolling down, but that's okay. That's okay.
I'll tell
So
you off the air. I promise.
Oh, okay. I can't wait, y'all. I can't wait. Y'all gonna have to wait on that one. So so with it being almost a year since the show aired, how do you look back on? You have time, like all the dust is settled at this point. How do you look back on the show in general?
You know, I haven't watched it again except for that first time. Um, but looking back, it was such an amazing experience. And again, my experience is different than everybody else's. Whether somebody got no time, 1 second of time, but looking back, the bonds and the friendships that carry on to this day, it's weird. Even you and I, we weren't super close in the game, but when I see you, it's like we just saw each other yesterday. It's a weird dynamic, but I love it, man. It's really cool to have so many friends from so many different places. I could go almost anywhere in the country and stay with somebody from our show, and to other countries. So from that standpoint, looking back, it was such a great experience, and I can't believe how I was allowed to be part of it. That still doesn't make sense to me that I was allowed to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, I can agree. I mean, I was literally in Denver 2 weeks ago, and I just randomly hit up Bridget, and because she lives Colorado Springs, not really in Denver, but yeah, I haven't spoken to her. I mean, we follow each other on Instagram, but I haven't spoken to her probably since we finished wrapping, like actually shooting it. And it was kind of just we spoke on the phone for like 2 hours, and then we just caught up like with everything, and it was like it was yesterday. So I totally agree with what you're saying and whatnot. And it's crazy, Mon. Even though we might not get along with everybody, but we can still kind of give that mutual respect at the end of the day, with in regards to doing the show and whatnot.
Agree.
So we have season 2 of the real Squid Game coming out soon too. You plan on watching that?
I do. I actually, and I think I can talk about it. Johnny Fairplay from Survivor is kind of involved, and I'm going to be doing I guess it's a podcast where we talk about the episodes. I got asked to do that. So every week or after every episode, we're going to have a show talking about the happenings of each episode. So I've never done that before. That'll be cool. I hope I can add some good insight, since we kind of did it ourselves. So that should be fun too. But I'm definitely going to watch. I can't wait for it to come out. The trailers and the teasers all look insane. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks crazy. Where's this podcast gonna be at?
I don't even know. I'm gonna have to find out. I don't know what platform it's gonna be on. I'm not sure.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm assuming maybe YouTube. I assume, but then I'm assuming Johnny Fairplay has a probably like a Spotify as well as Apple Music. I'm assuming, unless he's doing it himself or it's somebody he's doing it through. Who knows? Because I do know that Netflix is doing a podcast over the show as well.
I know.
So, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people doing it over the show.
there are some people I think from our show that are involved in that.
Hey, wow, there might be.
There might be, yes.
Not me though. I'll just put that out there for y'all. Y'all know where we rocking over here, because I have not been asked request, but it's okay. I'll probably be, because I didn't listen to any other. I only listened to maybe one or two other podcasts over our show, but over the real Squid Game I didn't listen to podcasts back then. Went over the real show, so this is gonna be my first time kind of hearing about this podcast over the real Squid Game show. So that'll be exciting, and I can't wait to hear your perspective on it as well from his podcast, wherever that may or may not be at.
Yes.
Well, cool. And then looking back, I guess, as well, do you think, you've had a lot of time to think and whatnot and review everything. Would you be down to do another season?
I'll put it to you this way. I applied for season 2 about 3 weeks after I got back from season 1. They hadn't obviously announced they were doing a season 2. Our show it was 10 months before our show came out, and I was already applying for season 2, and I've applied maybe or maybe not from different emails for season 2 so I could get a bunch of applications in, but I haven't heard squat. So yeah, 150,000,000%. I would love to do it again. I would love to go back. I need some redemption. It was a great time, man. For me, it was phenomenal.
Hey, look, if the Netflix people listening to the airwaves, because this man needs his redemption, and I want to see him back on there and less stressed out.
Me too. Yep, I agree.
Because the thing, like, I guess with the casting of Squid Game 2 is like, yes, it's been out for a while, I'd say, and it's a little different than ours just because from what I hear, they started the casting a while ago, but then they're kind of promoting it again recently too.
Yes.
You haven't, I got an email maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Oh, hey, we're looking for people, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you guys are still like sending these emails out? Because for our show, I don't think it was as widely. It was a lot of people that applied, but they weren't. I wasn't getting no emails like a couple months before the show to apply for the show, And this wasn't because I did season 1. It was because, oh, you applied for this. Like, I think I applied for like The Circle maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and they're like, oh, you applied for this show way back. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I don't know if maybe they're like redoing the casting process now, or they're changing what they're doing. Who knows?
Yeah, a couple people from our show that I'm close with applied for The Circle, just like you. Just funny you say that. In the past at some point, and they got an email last week saying, you applied for The Circle. We'd love to see you apply for Squid Game, the challenge, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. As far as I know, and it doesn't matter who. I am only aware of one person that is going back for season 2.
Okay, okay. More tea gonna be spilled off camera, unfortunately for y'all.
Yes, it's
Okay.
not me. I can tell you that it is not me.
Maybe not yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe there'll be a twist or some sort where they're gonna dump some of the season 1 players into season 2, because I feel like, depending on how season 2 of the real show goes, because they're gonna try and base it kind of off of that, they're having to. I'm pretty sure the producers of the Squid Game, the challenge, have seen the Squid Game actual season 2 already, and they're already getting ready for that. But the twists and turns. Maybe there's some players from the real Squid Game season 1 that's gonna make a return in season 2 that we may or may not know about. You know how those 2 people fell off the ledge, the bully and the girl? Maybe they
Yep.
didn't die.
Right.
Maybe they
Right.
didn't die. So maybe that could be something that could be a cool little addition as well. He's like, because I could see in season 2 them being like, okay, all you players here, and then they're gonna be like, well, you need some new fresh old faces or something like that, and then they'll bring out like a handful of people from season 1. I could see them doing that.
Well, listen, technically I never got squibbed. I'm still waiting to get squibbed, so
Exactly. So it could be the people whose never things weren't popped. That could be a real thing, So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But
true.
that'll be very, very interesting to see how it all plays out. So
Yeah.
it
I'll
won't
tell you
be
what though, for the new casting, I have never gotten, and again, I've been, like we've talked about, and I've told you at length, probably till you're like, stop talking about it. Survivor's my thing. I've been applying for 23 years. I got on one show, right? And I've gotten more DMs and phone calls. Hey, what do I do for my video application for Squid Game? This and that. Like I'm some sort of expert. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm definitely not an expert,
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a couple recently about people, applying now and whatnot, and they're asking, "Oh, it's late in the process. Like, how much longer till I hear back?" Blah 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 blah. I was
Yeah.
like, "Look, things change on the whim of a dime. They didn't start amping up our costing process until late, like really late. And I mean, it was December where you had to go to the doctor, had to go get these papers in, had to make sure all that was checked. I mean,
Yeah.
it was not radio silent before then, but it was kind of quiet where you didn't know. So everybody who's listening, if you're trying to get on the show, then you won't. It'll be last minute. Like I remember, I didn't know if you remember George. He's from England, from their big dude. He got cast on the show like a couple days before we started filming.
Wow.
So they called him up like, "Hey, can you drive down here?" He's like, "When?" He's like, "They're like today. We're filming in a couple days." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll come." I was like, "Wow." So it can be like that,
Yeah. You never know.
You never know. So with everything, is there anything from the show that I guess surprised you in the long form of things? And when I say that, I mean like for me, example, I wasn't expecting the Squid Game kind of to be even blowing up even more than it is per se. I'll say with the brand deal with the whiskey they're doing now, with the whole reality thing from the experience thing they have in New York and then they had in LA, and I guess also with regards to some of the players, how much it would lead to like certain other things with certain players. I guess I would say as well.
The thing for me that I think surprised me was that more of our cast isn't involved in other shows already, specifically Netflix shows. Like you have people like Maya's like the godmother of Netflix, right? She won the biggest show ever. Why am I not seeing her on Traders? Why am I not seeing, Steven, stuff, people like that? Like I don't get it. There are some people that got zero time, and I'm just talking about the people that got a lot of time. Why are they not on other shows specifically with Netflix yet? It's very surprising to me.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, because I see people. I don't watch only reality shows on Netflix. I watch. It's guilty. I can't believe I'm saying this. Selling Sunset, but I don't really watch it no more. But I've seen like some of the dating shows and whatnot, and
Yep.
they pull people from, they flip flop shows like Love Is Blind goes on. What's that? It's Too Hot to Handle goes on. What's that really popular show?
Love Island. There's a whole bunch of them, right?
Yeah, Love Island and all these other things and whatnot. and like you said, traders and whatnot, where they bring other people on. They have a show called The Goat. They have a show called House of Villains. You know, all these
Yep.
things, and it's, no disrespect to some of the people on these shows, but I ain't never heard of them, and I know their show
Yeah.
wasn't as popular as Squid Game, and there's so many people to pull from. It's kind of like you guys have this big kind of like cesspool to pull from now, and then you're not really utilizing it, whether that be for live events, live things that you got going on. Say they had the Squid Game Experience Netflix, the Squid Game Experience live New York thing that's going on. They could have had like, oh, people in New York, can you here? It's grand opening. Go to here, promote it, like help, and that would be, I think, fans. It's about the fans at the end of the day. There's no show without fans, and if you
Yeah.
can use whatever tools you have to promote it, especially things that are right in your backyard, people on the East Coast, for something like that, that would help out immensely.
I
Because
reached out to that Instagram account for that New York's, the experience. I said, listen, there are 30 people that were on Squid Game the Challenge that live within an hour of where your building is going to be, and for your grand opening, I guarantee we would all come. You don't need to pay us. We would love to be there for that. Never heard anything back. So it was a little disappointing. I'm like, why don't you utilize the tools you have right at your disposal, very close, geographically.
yeah, it's very mind-boggling. It's very mind-boggling. I'm
Yeah.
one of these days I'm gonna get to talk to the people in charge, hopefully, and then really kind of ask them the hard-hitting questions, because I ain't got nothing to lose at this point.
I hear that.
we gonna get there someday. So if y'all listening, then come on, don't be scared, don't be shy, don't be shy. So we gonna play a quick game real quick.
Uh-oh.
You know, this is the only game we gonna play. And it involves the show. And so what it is basically, I'm gonna ask you some players or some names, and you're gonna tell me what comes to your mind when you think of these players. Okay?
Okay.
All right, cool.
I'm going to preface this. This is just my opinion. You want my opinion now or like when we did the show? Because my opinion has changed drastically on some people.
Now, I want the now.
Now? Okay. All right.
Where are they at now? It's
Okay.
it's the where are they at now.
All right. Sure.
Okay. So we're gonna start out with Miss Mai, or 27287.
Great lady. I'm very happy that she won. She's doing some great things with the money. She doesn't have to do that. She's trying to give back. She's trying to do the right thing. And I couldn't be of the people in that show. I have no ill will, and I'm glad she won. It wasn't gonna be me. I'm glad she won. I think she represents the season well. I think she represents our cast well, and I'm happy to know her.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Shout out Mai. Holla at us. We need some of them donations you give out. Come on, Mai. We need the giveaways over here.
Yeah, that's right. Hook us up.
Hook us up with something. Okay, how about our friend that wasn't helping you get out of being eliminated, Mr. Chad 286.
Now I'm very good friends with him. I went down. I flew down for his birthday party. I was there for a total of like 18 hours. Flew all the way back. So even though he said I got you, and he didn't got you, and it ended up sinking my game. But good dude. I supported him big time with his whole political aspirations, and he's a solid guy. In retrospect, now I can independently or look at it from a different light and without being bitter. And good dude, good guy, man. Seriously, you can count on that guy, and he's genuine guy for sure.
Hey, shout out Chad, man. He's the real one. He's the realest of the real in Florida. How about our fellow Gombu gang member, Mr. Dr. Rick?
Let me tell you something, and my feelings never changed on Rick. He is an eccentric, just nice guy. There you go again. I went to his birthday party. We surprised him for his 70th birthday. I think 5 of us from the Gombu gang, we went out there. We drove through a snowstorm, my wife and kids and I, to go out to Pittsburgh for his party. And it was funny. The whole town that knows him. So he walks into the restaurant, which he owns, and he was happy. All the townspeople were there, and they were so happy. He was happy to see them. Then the Gambu gang comes out from behind. We were kind of hidden. And when he saw us, his reaction was a million times stronger to see us than it was to see people he's known forever. So, but Rick is a great guy, man. I wish I lived closer so I could see him more often. He is such a sweet man.
Well, that's excellent. That's excellent. Shout out Rick, man. Hope he's doing well and whatnot. Yeah, and is he retired, right?
Nope. They talked him in, they coaxed him into working a little bit still. He should retire. He's paid his dues, he's put his time in.
He has. How about our friend Mr. Runner Up 451 Phil?
It's funny. I get to see Phil. I see Phil a lot. We got invited to a Atlantic City celebrity convention. Jada, Phil, Dylan, and who else was there? I'm blanking. But it was I see Phil at Survivor events, in New York, in Philadelphia. Another sweet person. He really is. And when we talk to fans and he said, and I'll say, listen, I wasn't eating I would only eat like once a day, 200 calories to get prepared. I wasn't sleeping. But Phil, he goes, I just showed up. Whatever happened. Like he didn't even prepare. He didn't care. And maybe that's the right way to go because he made it to the end without much stress. So, but he's a great person. He's really trying to explore and advance his music career. So more power to him for sure.
Hey, shout out 6 Ways to Saturday, man. Shout out 6 Ways to
That's
Saturday.
right.
And he's at a sight out of mind, which is hard for a lot of people to do, but he's just master at it. So
Yep.
shout out Phil. What about our antagonist of the season, Mr. 432 Brighton?
Oh, I was waiting for you to bring up somebody that was controversial. I'll tell you, I've also had a chance to hang out with him. Rob Roman had not a surprise. He had a 30th birthday party back in, I don't remember when it was, February. And a bunch of us went and we went out and Brighton was there. And listen, I don't know if it's because I played athletics at a high level or I like him. He's a nice. Listen, if somebody is super religious, okay, I'm not. But if somebody is, it doesn't bother me. And people are entitled to have their views on certain things, even if they disagree with mine. And I'm fine with it. He's been nothing but respectful to me. In the game, he was respectful to me. I think the edit made him look more of a villain than he really was because that whole thing with that guy 198, who is not a good person, he was actually sticking up for other people when that happened. And a lot of people don't know that. They made it look like he was going after that kid. And you and I mean, that kid is that's not a nice guy from things I've seen on the internet. So they made it look like Brighton was going after him, but Brighton was sticking up for some girls, I think, when that whole situation happened. So to me, he doesn't bother me. I could hang out with him. I mean, I'm old enough to be his dad, so he probably wouldn't want to hang out with me, but he doesn't bother me. Nice enough guy for me for sure.
Okay. Shout out to 432, Mr. Brighton. What about our Mr. Cookie Spitter 299 Spencer?
I'll tell you, I don't know how much of that was real, how much of that was acting, how much of that was whatever. But I didn't know him that well. I still don't know him that well. But whatever he's able to make from this show, whatever he's able to do that this catapults him or helps him in his career, good for him. Again, spoken to him a few times, DM, seems like a nice enough kid. And again, I have no ill will toward him either. Good for him. I wish he would have gotten through the umbrella, though. That would have been pretty cool. It would have been nice for him to get through after they kind of nudged him to go that way, and he ended up screwing himself. But I wish he would have gotten through.
Yeah, it would have been very interesting because then he had a lot of people looking at him crazy. But and then, and then what about our favorite mom and son duo, Trey and Leanne?
Yeah, they're New Jerseyans, man. There are so many Jersey people there. I talked to Leanne and Trey a little bit once in a while. I'm actually doing a huge fundraiser in Florida in December. Anybody that follows me on Instagram, I keep asking people to donate. And again, that money's not for me. None of that money goes to me. It goes to my two charities. This year it's Over the Edge Celebrity Weekend. Leanne, myself, Sam, Dash, And I forgot to count Figgy in my last post because I think of her as a Survivor player. So I'll see Leanne. I'll see her down in Florida in less than a month, and we'll get to hang out and do a lip sync together, and we'll see what happens. Raising some money for good causes. Good lady, good son, nothing bad. Still, I like both of them, but if I had a chance, if you play any of these games and you have a chance, you have to split up the blood bond day one as soon as you have a chance. I don't know why that didn't happen. I still don't understand.
Hey, I guess they were able to slip through the cracks,
Their social game was good enough to
I mean, I will say also, it's I guess in the moment, you get attached to whatever. It could be like some people would be like, oh, it's heartbreaking, you can't break them up, even though on TV it'd be like, why wouldn't you do it? It could seem in person like a little heart crushing, if you can relate, I guess you could say.
Sure.
Some people are like, oh, well, if my mother or son was on the show.
Well, when Danny and Kyle I guess they were peeling carrots. I can't remember, but when they had the chance to anonymously get rid of somebody, that was the perfect chance, because nobody would have known who did it, and they got rid of that poor Mothi. He didn't do anything to anybody, But yeah, it's everything in hindsight is easy to say,
Facts. Well, cool. Well, I won't do too many. I won't do no more people. That's enough people for one night.
Yeah, you picked all the ones I had nothing but good things to say about. I appreciate it.
Oh man, I missed the ones that you had something controversial to say about.
Yeah, you did. That's okay. I'm not gonna tell you who it is.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, that was excellent, Dan. I mean, you've been doing a lot of fun, great things since the show. Shout out to you and your family.
Appreciate it.
It's been a minute since the show, and who knows, maybe we might see this man again soon. Somewhere.
You might.
Maybe on a boat somewhere at the charity events too. Maybe on Survivor. We never know. This man, they gonna see something one of these days, and I can't wait. I still gonna say it. I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm ready to see you on Survivor to see.
I appreciate that.
Chops that you really, what you really about, because that's really where you can prove it.
We got to get you on the casting team now to help me out a little bit.
Hey, look! I know a few people, and I'm vouching. I don't think I thought long and hard about doing Survivor. I thought about it because I went to Survivor events too. I don't really watch the show that much, but I do talk to Bryce and Wendell.
Sure.
And they advocate. Of course, they're gonna advocate to do the show, but there's a lot of just little things that hold me back from that. More so because when I watch the show, this is the only thing about Survivor. When I watch it, I see people's legs all cut up.
Oh, yeah.
I see just dirt and grime, like nonstop. I just see I don't know if I can deal with that. I might crash out a little bit. Now, in reality, I could push through it, but I don't know. That's just the living thing is probably the hardest thing rather than the voting and the competitions in my eyes on the Survivor. That's just me. So that's why.
Makes it a lot tougher. Maybe Big Brother's more up your alley.
That show's too long.
It is long. You're not kidding.
I would give that more of a thought. But if I could I like the challenge. That's like my show. That's the show I like to watch.
Love it. Love it.
It's long too, but it's not live, so you're not scrutinized everything like Big Brother. And two, you're not living outside like Survivor. I think it's kind of a nice balance. It's hard, yes, but you're not subdued to kind of live real, I guess, proverbially on an island in a sense per se. So
I'm gonna get to see a lot of them and hang out with a lot of them at the that charity event in December. There's gonna be a bunch of them there.
Oh, nice. Okay, we got to see some. You need to see some videos on Instagram about the event and whatnot for the people who can't make it. That'd be lit. I hope I get to see some of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, cool. Dan, is there anything else you want to send out there to the peoples before we get up out of here? Any last parting words?
Sure, man. It's always the same for me, man. I went on that show to win a life-changing amount of money to take care of my kids and my family. I didn't go on there to be famous or to be a reality personality. For me, it's about being a good dad. It always has been. So guys, when the kids are sick, hold them. When they need their diaper changed, do it. When they need their bottle warmed up, you do that. That's just the mom's job. And it's not just your job to go out and make money and not raise the kids. If we had more good dads, I believe this and I've said it before, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. If we had more good dads out there, I really believe we would have more good people. So guys, if you're going to be a dad, man, and to me, that's the only reason to get married is to have kids. So be a good dad, spend time with them, do the little things with them when they're sick and when they need you the most. That's when you should be there, not just when it's easy sailing. So I don't know, be a good dad, man. That's my thing.
You preaching hard on this Sunday, man. I know you must have just got back from church, coach. You preaching to the choir. That's rule number one. Be there when it's not easy.
Absolutely.
Because it's always easy to be there at the championship game. It's always easy to be there when it's talent show night. Like, but what about when they practice in the town? What about when they, at going to practice, So it's hard to do, all too better, more than anyone. But show up. That's just it, And because
listen, when you're, I think a lot of dads give away that responsibility because it's hard when the kid throws up all over the bed. You got to clean it up. Like, guys don't want that, but when your kid falls, and I've talked to Janu about this and some other people that I've met that are new dads, when your kid falls on the ground when they're little and they're trying to learn to run and they scrape their knee and they look up at you and you pick them up and you kiss their knee and you say, does that feel better? And they literally believe it and they say, yes, thanks. It feels better. You're like a freaking superhero, man. You can't get that anywhere else. You're a superhero for real in real life. I love it.
That's awesome. Let me cry. Chill. Waterworks are coming, man. Well, that's a great message by our friend Dan out here, man. He's a real one, and he definitely got the messages. And y'all need to listen to his podcast with Mr. Johnny Fairplay on Squid Game. Why did I say Rick? Because I said Dr. Rick. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think
Johnny
so.
Fairplay. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see what else is popping. So maybe I'll have you back on here sooner than later when I find out what's going on.
When I find out.
When you find out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's always a pleasure, privilege to have you and speak with you, Dan. As always, maybe I'll see you in a month at Survivor finale in New York.
I'll be there.
Okay, cool. I'm about to catch up because I ain't watched too much. The only thing I've heard about this Survivor season is that what have I heard? I have to be careful what I say because I listen to a podcast who a guy kind of goes in on the show. I've heard that a sister was crashing out. That's all I heard.
All right.
All I've heard.
I haven't missed 1 second of it in 23 years, 24 years, but yeah, not a bad season. I got so far, no complaints from a diehard, old school Survivor guy. It's pretty good.
Okay, cool. Well, shout out season 48 of Survivor. Well, all right, Dan, I appreciate you. And till next time, y'all, peace, blessings, deuces, and as always, have a great rest of your day.
Good seeing you, man.